Welcome back to Villa Famiglia, everybody. We are week 61 and we have a ton of progress to show you. We've got painting, primed, ceilings done. So walls are primed, ceilings are done. We've got doors that have been delivered. We've had tile delivered. We even have some tile installed that we get to show you today. So really excited to show you what we've got going on. Let's take a walk around and see what there is to see. Let's go. All right, so here we are in the basement, and again, we've got our doors in place, looking great. And you know, this is a good place to have a door just kind of leaning against the wall. Like you can walk, no, it's a joke. Anyways, these are all gonna get hung this week. We've got tile in here, and one thing that I noticed is that we've got quite a bit of a gap here between the top of tile and the floor here. So we're gonna have to come up with a pretty creative and ingenious way to ramp this up so that we have as flush a transition here as possible. Now, the reason why this is up as high as it is anti-fracture membrane, right? So we want to make sure we've always got some sort of an anti-fracture membrane underneath our tile. And then leveling, right? So obviously this must have been the low spot of the slab, I'm guessing, because it looks pretty flush to the toilet flange over by the tub there. So I'm guessing that there was just a bit of a belly in the slab here. So we'll see what happens once the floor installers get here, and maybe they need to add a bunch of floor leveler here to get it more level and this becomes less. But for the time being, that's what we've got. And so anyways, yeah, tile looking great. Everything's rocking and rolling in there. You know, we also have paint done down here. So it looks awesome. It look nice, bright, open, so much natural light. Like it hardly even feels like you're in a basement down here. Hey, Kyle? Coming through in here, we've got the other basement bathroom. And again, same deal here. You can see we've got the tile entry provision guard here. So that's good to go. That's actually what we use to protect the top of the bathtub so that people don't damage the tubs. And again, like here, you can actually see the anti-fracture membrane here. So this will actually get cut back before we get too carried away. And you'll remember, like I've talked about in all our videos, we always want to make sure that where one flooring meets another, it lands underneath the door, right? We want the floor to look uniform in whatever room we're in. So, you know, pro tip, bring your tile in just to the framing, not to the drywall, to the framing on the hinge side of the door, and you'll pretty much be safe every single time. That means you're gonna come in half an inch because the drywall is half an inch, maybe 5/8 if it's 5/8 drywall. And then from there, you have a door that's about 1.25 inches thick. So, you know, if you're half an inch, 3/4 of an inch into the door, past the drywall, you're gonna be happy with the result. This is the door that we've had specifically designed for this crawl space here. So this is actually gonna be cold storage in here. So we have gone and ordered an exterior rated door for this spot here so that this keeps the cold in there and keeps the warm in here. Italian family, so they said they're gonna hang prosciutto and stuff like that in there, their wine and whatever else, so be a good place to come and find food later, I promise you that much. They make good food. Nice reveals around the outside here, looking good. And as per typical Sprucehill spec, ball bearing hinges. It's a modestly expensive upgrade. I think it's like an extra $5 a hinge or something like that. And absolutely across an entire house, it adds up. I'll be the first to admit it. But certainly, you know, the action on this, it's just effortless to open and close this door. It's totally awesome. And if we hold this door here, does it pass the test? I don't know, Kyle. Should be okay. Kyle, being a video guy and not a carpenter guy, was just asking me, what are these wedges here? What are these used for? And so what these wedges are for is to shim the door in or out wherever you need to. So what happens is you get a screw in here, they shim the door in, out, and these wedges, because they're obviously wedge shaped, they're going to push this out into the doorway. And these wedges are what allow us to even up the reveals when the door is closed, right? Like if we didn't have, like for example, if this wedge wasn't here, I'm guessing the reason they put this wedge here is there was a bit of a belly in this door jamb here, and the gap between the door and the jamb was too big. So carpenter said, let's tidy that up a little bit, shall we? So that will get flush cut well, normally scored and snapped right off. Although, you know, like with how cheap flush cutters have become and how fast they are, like flush cutters blast through this stuff now. So, you know, the score and snap works well, but the issue with score and snap is sometimes it can like not snap the way you want it to and screw up all of your hard work. So if you just use a flush cutting tool, I don't know. I think it definitely takes a little bit longer, but not a lot longer. And I think the result is probably better. What do you think in the comments, everybody? I know I've got all sorts of sofa sitting carpenters in the comment section waiting to flame me and tell me how I'm an idiot. So what would you do? We literally got here just after the tile setter finished putting the floor leveler over top of the anti-fracture membrane. So we've got our Detra anti-fracture membrane in here. Floor leveler's gone on top of that to give us a nice flat surface on which to work. And so that's drying up right now. The floor leveler going on in here. Anyway, so that's looking exactly as it should, right? And floor leveler, in case you're not familiar, it's basically concrete that's got the consistency of almost water. Probably closer to like a thick oil would be the best way to describe it. And so that is a really useful product to use to get a flat floor. There you go. I don't know why I always start in the primary suite, but I think it's because I like the view. And I'm literally wearing long johns underneath my jeans. Where we March something or another right now. We got a couple inches of snow here in Vancouver today. Kind of random. We haven't had barely any snow even on the mountains this year. Like Grouse and Cypress, skiing has been garbage. And even Whistler Blackcomb has been so. But we got some snow today and it's always a beautiful view up here. So gotta come check it out, right? Coming through here, we have more doors ready to install up here. Tile setter is starting to begin his layout for how the tiles are gonna go in here. And so they dry fit everything first before they start putting down floor thin set rather, sorry. But in here, right? And so Kyle, you'll see, this is what that mudroom floor is gonna look like tomorrow. So this is floor leveler that's dried. Yeah, nice and flat. It's gonna make for a nice finished product. Clients are gonna be thrilled. So this bathroom has actually got the floor done and it looks like they've got the walls done in the shower too. I think the last time we were here, the shower walls hadn't been waterproofed yet, but they are now. So that's all looking great. Again, we've already done our flood test here. If you aren't flood testing your shower bases before you start installing tiles, start doing that immediately, right? Make sure you fill that shower base full of water as high as you possibly can. Really and truly, folks, you want to try and make your shower pan leak before you start finishing everything up, right? It's a lot easier to fix a problem now than once you've got everything in there and you got to start ripping up tile or it starts to damage flooring underneath. Try to make things fail before everything's finished because it'll be a lot easier to fix now than later. Beautiful, beautiful finish there. Doors are meeting at the top here perfectly. Now, a lot of people might think that hanging these doors is about as easy as hanging a single door. A double hung door is a pain in the ass. There's two doors to deal with. There's walls that are often not exactly perfect. Like, these things are always a fight. So when you see a double hung door installed like this, you know it's been done by an absolute pro. And this gets Erik's, it's a 9 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. And the only reason it's a 8.5 is I noticed that there's just the gap between the door and the jamb here is slightly less than the gap between the door and the jamb here, right? This is about 1/8. That's about 3/30 seconds. Yes, I'm that fussy. Fight me about it. I don't care. This door looks good. And again, you know, our field ops supervisor and production folks go through and make sure everything's hunky-dory beforehand. But, right, this is looking good. Big holes for speakers. We've got pot lights up here. This is for a smoke detector here. And then that's the grill or future grill for the HVAC system. Like, generally speaking, I found anyways, and I've lived in a few of these homes, on the upper floor, we really don't need to worry too much about getting heat to the upper floor. heat's gonna find its way from the main floor up as a general rule of thumb, or the basement up, because heat rises. Conversely, cold air falls. And so having our air grills in the ceiling of the bedrooms upstairs helps to make sure that when that cold air is dropping into this room, life is good. I think we've been through this before, and I've gone down this road before, but you'll see that the return air up here is at the ceiling, and that's where it should be on the upper floor, right? We don't want to see a return air at the baseboard on the upper floor, because it doesn't matter what the time of year is, whether you're heating or cooling, we want to be pulling in the cold or the hot air that's nearest the ceiling and cooling that and getting rid of it, so you don't have this big thermal warm mass above you, right? We want to get rid of the hot air, condition it, and repurpose it throughout the home, the house, the floor, wherever or however you've got your ducting system set up. Okay, so here on the main floor, not a ton of progress in terms of anything visible other than the fact that we have the ceilings completely painted. We've got a tinted primer on the walls now. So that's a really easy pro tip for everybody, right? If and when you're doing any sort of painting job, go to the paint store and tint your primer. It's especially if you're making any sort of color change to the wall color, get a tinted primer. It just helps to make the next couple coats on top look that much better. So tinted primer, it doesn't cost anything extra to have them tint it for you, and then it's tinted. Other than that, we've got tile behind Kyle here, so pretty much all of the tile for the home is here. This, I think we're gonna find on the shower walls. And so, can you get a sense for the kind of movement in the tile? And then this stuff here is just the stuff they put between the tiles so it doesn't scratch, in case those of you at home are wondering what the hell is going on here. So that stuff just flakes off. This is why you always order at least 10% more. If you think you're gonna buy a box of tile and every tile in there is gonna be perfect, you're dreaming. That said, this tile can still be used, right? It can be used for cuts and whatever else, so it might still get used, but it's pretty normal for things to be broken during shipping. Just plan for it. I mean, you can complain and bitch and moan, piss to the supplier, whatever else. They're gonna say, yeah, and things break. We'll get you a new piece. But the amount of time you're gonna spend going to and from the supplier, as opposed to having ordered extra from the get-go, just order extra. Trust me. So these suckers here are the large format tile that's gonna be going in the primary ensuite. I am not gonna unbox these suckers and show you one. You're just gonna have to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with a friend, and come back and watch when we show you what this looks like once it's installed. Well, that's a wrap on today, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you get any enjoyment, education, or anything else like that from our content, we sure would appreciate it if you'd share it out to your friends and family. Certainly it would be awesome if you subscribe to the channel. You just have to click a button. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. In the meantime, if you have a home that you have been poring over whether or not you're gonna renovate it or not, just reach out and pick up the phone and call us. It doesn't cost you anything. Have a conversation with somebody from the team. We will give you the best possible advice we can, and we will let you know what you can or can't do. We want to work with you. We want to be your partners in success, but you got to reach out. You can find us on the phone here. Give us a call. Love to hear from you. Or if you prefer to be a little more passive and look us up on the web and book a call there, that works too. Either way, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.